If you have a complex mind that sees the deepest patterns of reality like an X-ray machine, but you keep running out of social battery halfway through lunch, then you might be a deep intuitive, which corresponds to INFJ, INTJ, INFP, or INTP types. Today we're celebrating the absurd advantages of being a deep intuitive. Some of these will make you laugh, some will make you feel painfully seen, and at least 3 will explain why you have no friends. Let's go. 1. Spot patterns that are invisible to everyone else. You know that feeling when you're in a meeting and you can see exactly where this is going before anyone else has a clue? That's your intuition-oriented brain making connections at warp speed. While everyone else is processing information step by step, you've already seen the pattern and moved on to implications. In practice, this means you predicted the company restructuring 3 months early. You saw your friend's relationship falling apart before they had their first fight. You knew that trend would blow up before anyone was paying attention. The frustrating part? When people ask how you know, you're stuck saying, "I don't know, it just seems obvious," which makes you sound either psychic or unhinged. But pattern recognition is valuable. While others are still collecting data, you've already figured it out and gotten bored. And if you think that's weirdly specific, wait until number 4. You're going to feel attacked. 2. Read people like they're open books and immediately regret it. Let's talk about your creepy superpower. You can read people with unsettling accuracy. Micro-expressions, tone shifts, body language, energy. The words people don't say. You're picking up on all of it, and your brain is running real-time analysis whether you asked it to or not. Someone walks into a room and within 30 seconds you know they're anxious, pretending to be confident, and definitely got into a fight before they arrived. You didn't even try to figure that out. It just happened. Your brain just does this automatically, like breathing, but way more socially awkward. This makes you great at spotting fake people. Someone can fool everyone else, but you see straight through the performance. You know who's genuine and who's acting within about 5 minutes of meeting them. The downside? You can never unsee what you see. You know when people are lying, when they're uncomfortable, when they secretly dislike you, when your friend's "I'm fine" is the opposite of fine. And honestly, most of the time you'd really prefer ignorance. Ignorance was bliss. You miss ignorance. It's like having X-ray vision for emotions. Useful? Yes. Exhausting? Also yes. Worth turning off sometimes? Desperately? Yes, but you can't find the off switch. The best part? When you try to explain what you're picking up, people say, "You're reading too much into it," or "You're being paranoid." And then, 3 months later, "Wow, you were totally right about them. How did you know?" Yeah, you were right. You always are. It's the loneliest superpower. The accuracy rate is incredible, but the cost is knowing things you really didn't want to know about everyone around you. But first, wait until number 7. That's the one that costs you actual friends. 3. Deep dive into random topics like your life depends on it. When something captures your interest, you don't just learn about it. You become a temporary expert who scares actual experts. You start with, "Why do cats purr?" And 6 hours later, you're deep into feline evolutionary biology, the biomechanics of purring, the history of domestication, and you have strong opinions about controversial cat studies. It's 4 a.m. You have work at 8. You've taken notes. Your life has changed. This is flow state, and you fall into it accidentally all the time. When something genuinely interests you, time disappears. You forget to eat, forget to text people back, forget the physical world exists. This makes you incredible at mastering complex subjects quickly. You don't learn surface-level facts. You understand the principles, the nuances, the exceptions, the academic debates. You accidentally become the go-to person on historical metallurgy. The trade-off? Everything else feels painfully boring. Small talk, torture, mandatory work training? Your brain is screaming. If it doesn't engage your brain, it feels like death. But when you find something worth diving into, unstoppable. All right, number 7 is where things get socially problematic. You've been warned. 4. Overthink everything into beautiful, terrible oblivion. You don't just think. You think about thinking. Then you think about why you're thinking about thinking. Then you wonder if all this thinking means you're avoiding something. Then you analyze what you might be avoiding. Then, see, it never stops. Someone says, "Let's grab coffee sometime," and you're analyzing. Did they mean it, or is it social pleasantry? Which coffee shop has good vibes, easy parking, and low X encounter probability? What does this mean for the relationship trajectory? Should I suggest a time or leave it open? Does leaving it open signal disinterest? Wait, do I even like coffee or have I just been pretending for social acceptance? By the time you finish this analysis, they've forgotten they asked. You've moved on to questioning your entire coffee-drinking identity. This makes you an amazing strategist and problem solver. You see obstacles before they appear. You anticipate consequences before actions are taken. You're basically playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers. But it also means you can overthink yourself into complete paralysis. Decision-making becomes an Olympic sport, and those shower arguments, the devastating comebacks you think of 3 days later, real-time you. Stunned silence, word salad, maybe some hand gestures that don't help. Day 3, 2 a.m. shower. Here are 12 reasons you were wrong, with citations, precedents, and a PowerPoint. Your timing is impeccable. Your water bill is concerning. Your usefulness in the actual moment? 0. But boy, was that shower comeback genius. 5. Create entire universes in your head. Your imagination isn't just vivid, it's architectural. It has zoning laws and a functioning economy. This is your intuition building entire worlds with internal consistency, complex characters, and detailed systems. You don't just daydream, you construct alternate realities with their own physics. You've spent hours imagining parallel versions of your life based on different choices. Not regretfully, just curiously. What if you'd taken that job, moved to that city, said yes to that person? You've mentally rehearsed conversations that will never happen. You've designed businesses you'll never start, written books you'll never publish, and solved world problems you'll never implement. You've planned your acceptance speech for awards you'll never win. And somehow all of this feels productive. It's not procrastination, it's research. This makes you exceptionally creative. Whether you channel it into actual work or just maintain a rich inner world, you have imaginative depth most people don't possess. The challenge? Sometimes your inner world is way more interesting than external reality. Social obligations feel like interruptions to the important work of imagining alternate timelines. The real world seems flat and disappointing in comparison, and explaining your ideas to people usually gets blank stares. They can't see what you see. They don't understand why you're so excited about this elaborate theory you just constructed. Which sounds sad until you remember that your inner world is genuinely fascinating, and most people's small talk is literally about traffic and weather patterns. Your imagination is a feature, not a bug, even if it does make reality feel like a downgrade. 6. Sense the emotional temperature of any room instantly. Within 3 seconds of entering a space, you know exactly what's happening emotionally. Who's upset? Who's faking it? Where the tension lives? What's not being said? This is your feeling function picking up emotional data like radar. Even if you're a thinking type, you still sense group dynamics intuitively. You walk into family dinner and immediately know someone's angry, someone's pretending everything's fine, there's unspoken conflict, and you've been here for 90 seconds. This makes you great at mediating conflicts and reading rooms, but it also means you absorb other people's emotional states like a sponge. You walk in feeling fine and leave feeling drained, and you don't even know why. You're the person who notices when smiles don't reach eyes, when jokes have edges, when group laughter feels forced. The exhausting part? You can never just be in a room. You're always reading it, analyzing it, sensing it, and when you try to explain why you want to leave early, the vibes were off. Sounds ridiculous, but is somehow perfectly accurate. Speaking of socially awkward superpowers, number 8 is genuinely impressive. 7. Accidentally psychoanalyze everyone, including people who definitely did not ask. Someone asks, "How's your day?" Normal people, "Good, thanks." You. 15-minute breakdown of your existential crisis, childhood patterns, dream symbolism, and ongoing individuation struggle. They're standing there like, what did you just say? They wanted 2 words. You gave them a dissertation. Or worse, someone shares a simple story and you immediately identify the psychological pattern, trace it to childhood dynamics, and offer unsolicited insight into their attachment style. They said, "I had a weird interaction with my coworker." You heard, "Please deconstruct my entire psychology." This happens because your brain constantly analyzes behavior through psychological frameworks. You can't just hear a story. You're mapping motivations, identifying defense mechanisms, seeing patterns. This makes you an incredible friend when people actually want depth, but exhausting at parties. Most people want validation, not analysis, but you can't help it. You see the pattern. The key is learning when to share observations and when to just say, "That's rough, buddy. Still working on that." 8. Disappear from social events without anyone noticing. Let's talk about your actual superpower, the invisible exit. Irish goodbye? Amateur hour. You've mastered quantum vanishing. One moment you're at the party, nodding while someone explains cryptocurrency. The next moment you've teleported home, you're in pajamas, and no one can pinpoint when you left. You identified the optimal exit window, usually when someone started a long story, and simply ceased to exist in that space. 40 minutes later, wait, did you leave? You're already 3 episodes deep into a show, fully recharged. This ability comes from pattern recognition and strategic thinking. You understand social flow. You know when your absence will be least disruptive. It's not that you hate people, it's that social interaction has a battery meter, and you've learned to extract yourself before you hit 0% and become a liability. You're basically a social ninja, or a ghost, possibly both. And this skill will serve you well forever. 9. Connect seemingly unrelated concepts into brilliant insights. Your brain doesn't think in straight lines. It thinks in networks and constellations of interconnected ideas. You're reading about urban planning and suddenly making connections to attachment theory, watching a documentary about oceans and drawing parallels to organizational behavior, seeing patterns in Renaissance art that remind you of quantum physics. And somehow, these connections are actually valid. This is your intuition making lateral leaps that linear thinking can't access. You're pattern matching across completely different domains, finding structures that connect disparate fields. This makes you innovative. You see entirely new approaches because you're pulling ideas from places no one thought to look. The challenge? Explaining your process is impossible. Someone asks, "How did you come up with that?" And you're like, "Well, I was thinking about Jung and mushroom networks and suddenly understood your marketing problem." They look at you like you've spoken in tongues. Your brain makes intuitive leaps over gaps that others need bridges to cross. You see connections that aren't obvious because you're not limited by conventional thinking. And in a world that values cross-disciplinary innovation, this ability gets more valuable every year. 10. Have entire friendships via memes without ever meeting up. Here's your final superpower. You've perfected the art of maintaining deep connections while avoiding actual human contact. You send each other psychology memes. You share articles at 3 a.m. You have profound text conversations about existence. You tag each other in posts with, "This is so us," or "Why is this literally me?" And somehow you feel deeply connected despite not having seen them in 6 months, maybe a year, possibly never in person. Someone asks, "When did you last hang out with friend?" You. Define hangout. Normal people. "We should grab coffee soon." You. Sends meme. Them. Sends meme back. Both. Friendship fully validated, no pants required. This works because you don't need physical proximity for connection. You connect through ideas, concepts, shared understanding. A perfectly timed meme about Jungian psychology communicates more than 3 hours of surface-level conversation ever could. Plus, this method has several advantages. No scheduling conflicts, send whenever, respond whenever. No outfit planning required. Could be in pajamas, who knows? Can participate while fully horizontal. Zero obligatory small talk about weather. Instant exit when social battery depletes. Can fact-check statements mid-conversation. Pause to formulate better responses. You're not avoiding friendship. You've just optimized it for maximum depth with minimum performance anxiety. Some people call this chronically online or digitally dependent. You call it being efficiently connected and respecting everyone's energy levels. And honestly, in a world that demands constant in-person performative socializing, you figured out how to maintain genuine connection on your own terms, at your own pace, with memes as the primary language. That's not antisocial. That's advanced social engineering. Welcome to the future of friendship. It's weird. It's asynchronous. And it works perfectly for your brain. So there you have it. 10 things you can do better than most people. Yes, these abilities might make you overthink everything, disappear from parties without warning, and accidentally psychoanalyze people who just wanted directions to the bathroom. Yes, your brain never shuts up. Yes, people look at you weird sometimes. But you also see things others miss, understand things others overlook, and connect things others can't imagine connecting. So while these strengths might make you feel a little alienated from normal people, just remember, you're not broken. You're not too much. You're just operating on a different frequency. Stay weird, my dear aliens. The world needs what you see, even when it doesn't know how to ask for it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have urgent business in my inner world, and I'm currently 40 browser tabs deep into the history of fermented foods. If this made you feel seen, or attacked, or both, subscribe for more psychology content that gets weirdly specific. Check out the other videos on the channel for deeper dives into intuitive types. See you in the next one. Take care, my favorite aliens.